We have a letter here from Fiona King. Basically, amongst other things, she says that they've got treated timber around their garden beds. The timber is falling apart, and she goes on to say, basic shows like ours, they've been waiting in the hope that we would do a segment on options and methods to replace the existing raised bed edging. And it is such a good point. And yes, we should have done more on it. We're here today, we're going to do it. This is the edging here. You can see that it's basically past its use by date. There's bits of it broken over here and so on. So what we're going to do is replace all of this edging. The thing with timber is, yes, it hadn't been treated, but more to the point, it's fairly temporary. So we'll get one of those low retaining wall things, the modular ones that are made out of concrete but sort of look like they're sandstone. We'll put one of those in, and the great thing about it is, when we put it in and make it look nice and it will last more or less forever, the great thing about them is if you want to change it later, they're modular, they're just like Lego kits or something. You can pull them apart and reconfigure them elsewhere. Well now, the product we're using is this stuff. It's called Easy Stone, and looking at it like that, you're probably wondering why on earth is it called Easy Stone? Well, that's why. That's your face side. So you just lay this stuff down and it locks into it itself with, you can see the overlaps, and you can build it up. Now, if you're under 350 millimetres, which is about that 350 millimetres, a little bit over a foot high, if you're under that, you just lay it on like a fine road base, crusher dust or whatever. Now, because we're just a little bit over the 350 millimetres, what we're going to do is put the base of the dry concrete in. Now, it's important, this is not an application for rapid set, it's just ordinary concrete. Nonetheless, the way you put it in is fairly straightforward. Pour it into the hole and we'll be levelling it off. I mean, the instructions say 100 millimetres, but it's not all that pivotal, but it'll be sort of roughly that much, which we'll just go along and level roughly with a spade, then get it absolutely right with the spirit level. This is our first one, string line to guide us. And I'm sure you've all watched brickies. So the next step, get your little mallet and your level, and you just check as you go. Putting the first row in is quite fiddly. You've got to get your levels exactly right and a very slight slope of that top edge back in towards the wall. But once you've put in those good hours of getting the first level right, you can virtually lay the subsequent ones as fast as somebody can hand them to you. But there is one trap. There's a couple of different sort of mouldings of these things, and you've got to make sure when you're doing them that this doesn't happen. I'll show you. When you go and put them in, you go, oh dear, there's the same pattern repeated above and below. Now when that happens to you, just simply take that out, look for a different one and swap them over. Now when you come to a corner, there are actual corner mouldings. You might notice the inside of those is polystyrene, and they also supply these little bits which just fill in the end bit of the brick course. Then of course you put a brick tie through prior to putting on the next layers. Well, it's been a long day. It's called Easy Stone, this product. Obviously it's made out of concrete and then it's sort of coloured and made to look like sandstone. I think it's quite a good looking product. We picked this sort of colour because the bricks are an orangey red and it sort of tones in with that, but I think it's a much classier look. We got it done in the day, but it was hard work. Look, basically it's not a bad product to use, and something like this, I think the average sort of handy people at home could do it, so think about it. That's a much better look, and to be honest, I always prefer a masonry edge to a raised garden or whatever than wood. Wood eventually is going to give you problems. This hopefully will be there more or less forever.